Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We of course are here for F1 2021 at Season 6 Lobby 1 Pre-Season Race 2 around here at the Abu Dhabi circuit for the S Marina circuit I should say, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. My name is James and of course going to be taking to the stream as always for Lobby 1 and indeed for Division 1 this season for 5th season in a row. I think I mentioned that last week. Joining me in the commentary box though, it is Mr. Gary Donegan. Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Glad to be here. Obviously, I missed last week, unfortunately, and you had Nolan filming in, so he did a great job, so thanks to him. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to commentating over Lobby 1 and hopefully Division 1 now for the rest of the season alongside you. So let's see what the top guys in the league can do tonight and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see how all of these guys are going to get on out on track tonight. And I will reiterate the point that I mentioned at the end of last week's stream. Please finish the race so these admins can get a better view of, in terms of the racecraft, in terms of your overall pace as well, because you don't want to be missing out on any single lap. If you crash, that's your fault, really, to be honest. Like, you can't do anything about that, but please finish the race, don't retire in the pit lane. These guys, these admins, of course, work hard to deliver all of the racing here within League of Europe. And as well, thank you, Nolan, if you are tuning in to tonight's action, for joining me in the commentary box last week for Lobby 1. Very, very good replacement, I think, of our co-commentator alongside me tonight. But we haven't got Nolan, we've got the Irishman, of course, alongside us going into tonight's action here in Abu Dhabi. Let me get up then who is going to be driving here tonight. These are the drivers that are confirmed at the minute. It may differ from what you see on your screen. So for Lobby 1 we have Justas, Kuki Games, Verstappen, Campbell, IFR Tom Robbo, M Short, NSX Connor, NSX Yilbream, Alpha Trix the Season 3 champion, and NSX Alba. Cantera in at number 11 with Matthias, Jensen, Neo, Leonard, Dylan, Nathan, Daniel, Wouter, and Izza. Those are your 20 drivers, of course, and the reserves: Vaporizer, Rocco Montana, and Yul Melmat. Hopefully, we're going to be getting a full grid, and I've literally just seen in the lobby we do have a full grid, which is fantastic.
Yeah, great, and we are missing a couple of the top hitters this week. No M Short or Montana, who of course gave us that wonderful title battle last season. So be interesting to see who can fill the void of the top two. They've been dominating nearly, especially Montana's been dominating for the last 2 seasons, and M Short of course last season as well. So be interested to see the likes of Alpha Trix and maybe Cookie Games, I would say, if he has a good quality or on a good race, if he can keep it on track. That seems to be his issue, but if he can keep it on track, I think he's going to be one to look out for in the race. Yeah,
definitely one to look out for in the race. And Rooter, of course, coming from the F1 esports background for Relentless, he might be a one to watch out for. Neo, I think, will be a one to watch out for. Had lightning pace, remember, in China last season in pre-season. Didn't deliver in the full season of Division 1, but he might be a name to put forward to this as well. Qualifying is about to begin. Abu Dhabi circuit, of course, 5.5 kilometres in length, 3.4 mile, with the 21 turns and the 2 DRS zones, of course. One down towards turn 8, and then one down the old F2 pit straight down and towards turn 11. Unfortunately, the organisers are not paying us enough money to try and cover the action for you out on track tonight, but hopefully we can provide a lot of overtaking and a lot of good battles.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Abu Dhabi, notoriously in real life, is quite difficult to overtake, but I'm expecting a lot of overtaking, a lot of battles, a lot of strategy differences around this track. A lot of strategies can be played, a one-stop is possible. I don't expect many to do it, and it isn't the quickest way, so I do expect a lot of two-stoppers. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have people outside top 10 maybe doing medium-soft, trying to stretch out those tyres to the end and do a one-stop. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses throughout the race.
Yeah, I know on the last game when we came around here, it was 2 stops all the way. Soft compound tyres only lasted about 5 laps before the guys actually decided to come into the pit lane. The mediums tend to last about maybe 12 or 13 laps at a real push. And then, of course, the hard compound tyres last until you get around about lap 20, lap 21. But only then, the softs might not even get to the end of the race if they go in. But we go in towards qualifying. 20 drivers, of course, out on track. Fantastic to see everyone here. Let me get the telemetry and everything for you and the track map indeed, and we wait for our first guys to come out on track. I think there's movement in the Red Bull garage. I think Neo might be one of the first ones to come out on track, and Neo, of course, the German, had a win last season in pre-season in China, was very impressive there. Can he try and repeat that here tonight in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I believe he struggled quite a little bit in China last week, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, now I didn't actually see the full race, but what I heard, he had a bit of a couple of spins like everyone else, I think. So he'd be looking to improve on that from last week. But I've been doing a bit of practice with Neo, and he does seem to have a bit of pace here. So I'll be interested to see how he gets on. But I think his teammate Ariel Nathan is the first one to come out of the pits on the Red Bull, and he'd be another one to look out for. Last season he won at China, so he's a race winner. He's a proven D1 driver. Let's see how he can get on as he embarks on his outlap.
I was thinking to myself, why is Neil not out on track? And then I realised it was Nathan out on track. So I think I said the wrong Red Bull there. So apologies. It is very difficult to see halfway down the pit lane. I need my glasses and eyes testing, I think, definitely. Nathan, though, out on track in the Red Bull. And Nathan will be hoping for a really good result, of course, here tonight. Of course, he did win in China last season. His real crowning glory, I think, last season in Season 5. But Nathan is always one of those drivers, and I hate to say this, that is quite inconsistent. Can he put in a consistent qualifying and transition that into the race?
I think he would probably agree with that comment as well. I think he knows himself that he can be inconsistent, especially in qualifying. I think he's always been good in the races. Probably hasn't been able to show it as much in D1 considering how close the gaps are. But definitely he goes a lot better in races and qualifying. So if he can get himself up near the front of the pack, he's definitely one to look out for in the race.
Let's ride on board then as he comes through the grandstand section, coming through turn 18 and 19. The marina actually just off to the right hand side on the track, not visible by the cameras, but the marina is there to the right hand side, and of course is not to be confused with the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore, as I mistakenly, I think, said in the TTML commentary once. Nathan now coming across the line though to start us off on a lap. No technical start finish line, has been put forward slightly down in towards turn number 1, and Nathan manages turn 1 very nicely indeed. Coming out now through turn 2 and then car killer corner at turn 3. Catch the curve there, you will end up in a spin, and if you've got an unstable setup it might be even worse. Nathan through the first sector though, to 17 flat through the first sector, coming through turns 4, 5 and 6, and then in towards turn number 7 of the hairpin, and now on box of the 1 kilometre straight down here in towards turn number 8, and of course he doesn't want to be hanging like a cow like Nico Hulkenberg a couple of years ago around here in Abu Dhabi. Nathan approaching the braking zone then of turn number 8, 200 mile an hour reach down in towards turn 8, and that's good. Gets the apex nicely, coming through turn 9 and then in towards turn 10, and across the old F2 pit straight here, the F2 pits off to the right hand side. They used to run that in the GP2 days, of course, around here in Abu Dhabi. Now coming through then into the end of the middle sector, split to 56.9 from Nathan, coming through the middle sector, through turn 11, through turn 12 and through turn 13, invalidated that on his outlap, but manages to cut that nicely. Now coming through 14, gets very Larry on the curb, and now comes to the triple right of 15, 16 and then 17. I think I've miscounted a corner across the way. I think this is turn 17 coming up, and then through 18, and then in towards turn 19, this left-hander. Coming through then the final 2 corners out on track, and Nathan will be looking around the 132, 133 mark, I would think, with this lap. The Brit now coming through in towards the final corner, and Nathan begins us off on a lap. I think it's a 133.3 across the line. Not a bad lap there at all, but probably we're going to go quicker than that. And speaking of which, Justas has just gone quicker with a 133 flat.
Yeah, that's a very quick lap by Justas to get himself started off, as Daniel comes up in the 33.6, so he's a bit off the pace so far. And then Rocco follows him with a 34.0, but I'm expecting drivers to do maybe a mid... yeah, I'd say a couple of good guys can manage a mid 32. We may have 1 or 2 that on the limit could do a low 32. So it'll be interesting to see what the likes of Alphatrix can do later on in this session. But now looking to see who's going to be the next one to cross the line. I think a lot of people haven't validated their laps, to be honest. So I'm on board with Matt at the moment as he got what's happened. Izza
spun coming through turn 19 there. He was facing the wrong way, and I think you're on board with Matthias if I'm not mistaken as well. Comes through the final corner. Good luck from him, he goes top.
Yeah, very good lap. I think he was a bit out of shape coming through the last sector out of 19, so definitely more time in there for him, but that's a good lap. As Pantera bumps himself up into 3rd, so guys getting their laps in. A couple of invalidated, as you can see, but Alba now has just gone through the middle sector split, and he is purple through that with 56.8, so let's see how he can get on as he goes through turn 2:14 now. He's nice and clean. He's obviously a very quick driver. We've already seen what he can do now down in 2:17. And he's got a spin lane and a spun there on his in-lap, so I'm not too sure how he's managed that. That might have distracted the NSX driver slightly. Here he goes now, through 90 now. 2 more corners to navigate. 20, very tricky inside curve and outside curve will spin you off. And then going through turn 21, very nice. It's going to definitely be the quickest lap. Is it? Yes, it is. With 32.9. He's the first driver into the 32, so that's a really good lap by NSX Alba.
Yeah, 600ths of a second quicker than Matthias, actually. And Matthias, of course, did a really, really good challenge. Of course, Larkin, I think, took the Division 2 title last season. Matthias pushed him right to the limit, pushed him right to the end of the season in Brazil. And he's second at the minute in the AlphaTauri. So it just comes to show he's got the natural pace to live it up with the top guys here in Division 1. Justas there in third. Cantera as well, returning from a long layoff as well. Didn't return in Season 5, back here in Season 6. And Cantera will be hoping for a really good result. He hasn't got Doom alongside him, unfortunately, so no tailgating down the straight as we have previously seen in the past with the 2 Renaults. But Cantera in fourth at the minute, Nathan in fifth, Daniel in sixth. Campbell's lap though, 1:33.7. Natural improvement around here is about a 1.2 second average, I think. So Campbell will be hoping maybe to go into the mid 1:32s, maybe?
Maybe. Now, Campbell's been one that I don't think people have been talking about enough. He's definitely one that could be an outside Montana and Marcus, of course. He's my favourite to maybe ruffle a few feathers with those guys and challenge them for the championship. We'll have to see how he gets on, but that's a very competitive lap by him on the beam. Same for Alphatrix, who did a 33.4, and we know how quick he is, so he's definitely got plenty of time in that lap. So I'm definitely expecting a few mid 32s this session when we get down to the business end of the session where everyone is really going for it. And that's where you might also see invalidations, and you see 11 people have set a lap so far, so a lot of invalidations so far in the first run.
Yeah, Connor on an invalid lap. I was just catching on board with him coming through turn 19. He's sadly invalidated, and actually there's a bit of a yellow flag. I think he might have run out of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Connor's run out of fuel, so he's going to be coming back into the pit lane. But Alvarado on top, Matthias in second, Justas in third, with, I would say, how much time there is, but there is a yellow flag in sector 3 somewhere. I think that might be one of the Haas's going slow.
Yeah, Cookie nearly lost at turn 3, like you were saying. The car killer corner, he got right on the curb and it nearly sent him. He had a massive snap. He did very well to save it, but that's going to hamper his lap time an awful amount. Didn't manage to catch his first sector split, but he's definitely going to be a bit off the pace as he comes down the first DRS straight. I think he's one of the only drivers on an actual lap at the moment, so we'll stay on board with him as he goes down now into the second chicane of 8 and 9. He completely misses the apex and goes very deep. This has not been the best lap by Cookie. I won't be surprised if he backs off. He still seems to be going for it, but this is definitely not going to be as competitive as he would like it to be. We head down now into the second chicane of 11, 12 and 13. The 57.6, that's way off the pace, and he's missed the apex. Yeah, he's given up. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Ooh, he's looking not to crash there, but yeah. Yeah, he's all over the shop at the moment, this Slovenian, but yeah, he's clearly struggling out there.
Yeah, we know Cookie Games has got the natural pace out on track to lay it up with the top guys, but if he takes risks like that, I don't think he's going to be seeing the end of the session at this rate. We're halfway through qualifying. It's Alvarado on top, Matthias in second, Justas in third. Montana made a very interesting comment, by the way, in the comment section. Wait until now Alba can actually nail a lap around here. 1:32.955 is his current best. He's 600ths of a second ahead of Matthias. Goodness me, I need some air here. Cookie Games in 12th position. Yildirim on a lap though. He's coming through in towards the final couple of corners. Yildirim, of course, I think he finished second to Yul Melmas, if I'm not mistaken, in Bahrain towards the end of last season in Season 5. As now Yildirim comes through the final couple of corners in the Alfa Romeo. And the German looking quite quick. He could lay it up actually with Albert towards the top end of the field. Yildirim comes across the line. He goes fourth with a 1:33.1. And that's that finish line, by the way, just to come onto it. It has been moved forward about 20 metres on this game. So that is why you're seeing slightly slower lap times than you would have seen on F1 2020.
Yeah, it's quite strange. Like, there isn't actually a start-finish line at all to be seen on the track. It's very strange what they've done. Of course, they've moved it forward a little, but there is actually no line. So it's very, like, I wouldn't say it'll catch out drivers, but it's very, I don't know, it's nearly off-putting, not off-putting, but like, it's strange that they've obviously taken it out and just forgot to take it back in. And that's typical Cold Masters, really, isn't it? with their glitches and all that. But we've got Tom Robbo on a lap, and he's going through a chicane of 8, 9, and coming up to 10. Be interested to see how he gets on. The IFR driver, I think he's definitely one to look out for in this division, so let's see how he can do through the middle sector split. Looking for a mid 57, I would say, 56, sorry, he's 56.9, so that's not going to be terrible. That's going to put him right in the mix. He doesn't invalidate through 12 and 13, very importantly, and 14. He does get all out of shape, so that's going to cost him time. This track is just extremely difficult on the rear tyres. They are just screaming to be taken off, especially in the race, so I'll be interested to see how they manage that in the race. Well, here we go now, through the heart of the last sector. So hard, these curves just want to kill you, they don't want to spin you off, especially the last 2 corners. Here, and you can see he's all out of shape once again through 20 and now down into 21. Takes a lot of curve, goes a bit wide, should be okay. It's a 33.5 and that puts him P11. Really scruffy lap for him, definitely more time on the table.
Yeah, and I think if that went pole position, if I'm not mistaken, certainly from an admin perspective, and if this was the first round of the season, which it isn't, I think Tom Robble's lap probably would have been invalidated, and he may have been disqualified from the session there, because he ran so wide through the final corner.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual race, the stewards would have had some limits on going wide at the final corner like he did, but in pre-season, I think we tend to look over those things a little bit more than in the actual season. Yeah, I totally agree. In the actual season, I think that would have been flagged up immediately.
Yeah, Daniel's on a lap. He is coming through in towards 16 and 17, formerly of LR, of course, last season. Now of VRT. VRT seem to be signing everyone under the sun, I think, at this point. But Daniel now coming through in towards the final couple of corners. And we saw him, of course, take the race win in Austria for round 1 of the last season in League of Europe Division 1. And Daniel's struggling to try and get the car through the final corner. But it's a good lap, and he goes beyond his teammate by 6 thousandths of a second. Daniel goes 4th. You'll bring him up to 5th. Cantera all the way down in 6th, and he is giving, I thought it was the same car, but it's not. It's actually an Alpine that's behind him. And I think that might be, is it Rocco or Ruta on a lap? It's Ruta, but he's off the pace. Rocco's coming into the pit lane, and I don't think we've got many people out on a lap. Neil's on a lap coming through the final corners.
Yeah, Campbell's going to be behind him as well as Neil. I think Neil's invalid, I'm guessing. No, he's not. Nope. He hasn't crossed on yet. So P7 with a 0.2, and I think Campbell's going to be the next one to come across. He was purple through the middle sector, but I don't know how representative that actually was when he comes across the line. And it is pole position with 32. He does the exact same time as Alba, but it puts some P1. So Codemasters obviously still haven't got rid of that glitch, because of course Alba, who set the lap time first, should still be in P1. Nonetheless, great lap by Campbell with 5 minutes to go on the session.
Yeah, Campbell will be hoping, of course, on a Monday night, if he signed up, of course, to try and push it to Toxic, our 4-time champion, of course, in LOEF2. You may also see somebody else there, but I'm going to leave that till later on. Campbell's out on top, Alfred 2nd, Matthias in 3rd. Basically, long story short, I'm racing an F2 on Mondays, so there you go.
It's going to be very interesting to see how you get on commentator gone racing.
Kooky Games is retired out on track.
Yeah, and yeah, we were saying he was struggling. He's lost his out in the last corner. I don't know if he's been going into the pit. It seems very close to the pit lane, so I won't be surprised. I think Nathan's had it off as well at turn 3. Yes, he has indeed. So guys are starting to push the limits, and they're starting to, the cars are telling them they can't do it, and they're having spins and crashing out. Well, I'm sure we'll see a few more spins from the end of this qualifying session where people start pushing it to the absolute limit. Yeah,
Campbell out on top, Alba 2nd, Matthias in 3rd. I'm surprised actually that Matthias hasn't improved. He set such a high standard of a lap. It's a 1:33 flat at the minute. He's 800ths of a second ahead of Justas. But what can the AlphaTauri man find out on track? Well, that's right on board with him. Coming through the final couple of corners. Normally at this point drivers will come into the pit lane right on board with a lap, but Matthias now coming through the final corner, comes across the start-finish line, or the technical start-finish line, to set us up on a lap then. Coming through turn number 1, and then in towards turns 2, and then of course car killer corner at turn number 3. Matthias takes turn 3 nicely, and that's what I mean. That is car killer corner right for you there. Matthias has demonstrated that to an absolute T, catches the curb and spins the car, and I think, was that somebody else that nearly went with him as well?
I think
Alphatrix, I think.
Yeah, the Mercedes of Alphatrix, yeah, on his outlap nonetheless. So like, Alphatrix clearly pushing on his outlap, trying to get a feel for the car. Of course, he's been only on medium so far, so this will be his first go on the soft. So he wants to maybe do a quick outlap, get a bit of a feel of the car and how it feels, because it will definitely feel a lot different compared to the mediums. The mediums do not have as much grip as the soft two, obviously. But yeah, a lot of people in the pits now, expecting as they make their way out, as I say that, a good few drivers coming out of the pits now. I think we're about to have our last lap showdown. I think Max qualifying might be done here. I don't know, I think he's trying to cool the tyres down, but he might not have enough fuel, and the tyres might not like going on the second lap, so he'll be one to keep an eye out and see if he comes into the pits before he does indeed try and go again.
Yeah, I think he'll try and go again, to be honest. If he's got the fuel load, he'll probably try and go. Alphatrix, by the way, is so rushing around. He's rushing around to get 2 laps in, and that is why he's rushing around. And we're seeing Alphatrix now coming through turns 18 and 19, and he'll be hoping to try and get a really good lap in, of course. You would favour the pad around here at Abu Dhabi compared to the wheel, especially that turn number 3, as we saw with Matthias, who I believe is on a wheel, and that is just how costly it can be around here. But Alphatrix coming through the final corner, the Season 3 champion, of course, beat one Louis Welsh in Season 3, and now he'll be hoping to try and get another title to his name, albeit only in pre-season. Alphatrix now coming through turn 1, through turn 2, and then through Car Killer Corner at turn 3, and he nearly caught that curve, nearly pushed them out wide, but Alphatrix 400s up through the first sector, 16.9, it's purple, but I think it's purple out of everyone in this session so far.
Yeah, he's on a good lap so far as Alphatrix. He's really on the limit. He went so wide on entry into turn number 5. It was so, like, I thought he was going off track the car. I'm surprised he managed to keep it so settled. He's got a bit of traffic coming up. It's going to be a bit off button for him as he heads into the first and second chicane of 8 and 9. He's been nice and tight. He went down the first gear there, so I don't know how he's managed to keep the car in a straight line there. This game really doesn't like you going through the gears like that, but you've got a couple of cars in the way, getting out of the way. So hopefully when they back up through the last sector, he won't be held up too much, and he's 5/10 up in his lap. This is a very good lap. I think it's going to, if he can hold this last sector together, he's going to be right up there with Campbell and Alba going off their middle sector splits. So let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. The Season 3 champ, as you said, that's the great Louis Welch, arguably the greatest pad driver on PS4, people would say. So Alphatrix does have a big name here at LOE. He didn't have the greatest season last season. I think he would admit that himself. He's got Neo, something Neo gets out of the way. That Ferrari's going to be a bit off putting on the inside. Daniel, but Alphatrix manages to get past it nicely indeed. And for the last corner now, what's going to be that Paul by some margin as well, 32.6. What a lap by the Mercedes driver.
0.8 of a second improvement from Alphatrix. What is Campbell doing? He's a 10th down through the first sector. Alba is just coming up towards the first sector split, and he is up by 100th of a second, so he'll try and get that lap in, but Alphatrix has set the benchmark there. Campbell, Justas also on a lap. Justas is 8 thousandths down, coming through the middle sector. We'll run on board with him. Matthias' qualifying is done, and that is the end of qualifying for him. Vaporizing Corner still yet to set lap times further down the field, but Alphatrix on top, Campbell in second, Alba in third. First car about to come across the line, I believe, is Verstappen, if I'm not mistaken. He's 11th at the minute, 300s up on his time, but he's invalid, so he's coming through the final corner, and on an invalid lap, what would have it been? And a 33 flat would have put him actually 5th, so that would have been a good lap from Verstappen. Just trying to see anybody else that's coming in towards the final sector. Cantera's a 10th up, coming through the middle, the end of the middle sector, in fact, coming through to 19 now, and then in towards turns 20 and 21. Yilbreen went up to 7th. Verstappen on! Cantera's to the wall! Cantera into the wall! Hard hitting into the wall, and that is not his tyre, by the way. That's Kuka Games' tyre, I think, from earlier on in the session, but it's Alphatrix still on top. Justas has gone second. Campbell is not improving. What is Alba doing? What is Alba doing? He's coming through now for the final couple of corners. Vaporizer is retired from the session in the pit lane, I think, as well. And now Alba coming through the final corner. Can he take the fight to Alphatrix? Alba now to the line, and he does, wow. And he takes it comprehensively in the end. It's a 132.4. But what is everyone else doing further down? Ruta is on a lap, but he's actually not on a proper lap. Leonard is not on a lap either. Nathan is the only one really pushing at this stage, at 133.3, but it's some way off Alba's time. I think Alba's got pole position here. It's going to be Alphatrix in second, and nearly Nathan ending up through the final corner there. Vaporizer crashed through the final corner as well to the right hand side. Nathan across the line in 15th. That is the end of qualifying. Nobody else on a proper lap, and it's Alba out on top. And Montana warned us, if he got a pure lap in, he would be the time to beat her. 132.4, very impressive indeed.
Yeah, very impressive in times indeed throughout the field. Yeah, Alba, that was just incredible. 2 tenths clear of Alphatrix, who was no slouch in himself, so he can be very happy with that, and I'm sure he will say there's more time in that lap. So great lap by Alba. Now we just got to control the race. And they've been going full pelt now for 18 minutes. Now they've got to change their mindsets. This track is a car killer. These curves are ruthless in the race, so they've got to take a bit more caution now in the races. Not attack the curves as much. Of course, they do have damage on, so like they can pick up floor damage and etc. So they've got to take a bit more caution in the race and be interested to see how they get on. Because obviously, last week they didn't really take that caution at China, and we've seen many spins and many crashes throughout the divisions or the lobbies in LOE last week. So let's see how they get on this week, if they learned their lesson or not.
Yeah, let's hope they have learned the lesson, but regardless, it's Albarad on top, it's Alphatrix in second, and it's Justas in third. Let's take you through the rest of the grid as well. Connor up to fourth. I didn't see that lap posted by Connor, but he goes fourth. Campbell in fifth, Viotti Daniel in sixth, Matthias in seventh, Yulbream in eighth, Cantera in ninth, and Neo rounding off the top 10. Izza in 11th, with Verstappen in 12th, Tom Robble 13th, Rocco in 14th, Nathan in 15th. They really can't get rid of each other, can they? Leonard in 16th, Ruta 17th, Jensen on a set of medium start on 18th, Kuka Games and Vaporizer not setting the time in. That is the end of qualifying. We transition into the race. Daniel Dickinson, by the way, saying, this commentator reminds me of Murray Walker's co-commentator in the early 19s in the BTCC. I forgot his name, though. Well, I'm James Head, and he's Gary Donegan, so there you go.
I don't know who he is, so...
Neither do I, that's why I said your name instead.
Sick, but yeah, now we just wait now. The driver's picking this. It'd be interesting to see now. I'd be shocked if anyone does a one-stop, to be honest here. Like you said at the start, last game it was notoriously known to be a two-stop race. But you never know, you might have one or two guys who go for the Hail Mary strategy, maybe go medium-soft or soft-medium. It is possible. Deg isn't high at this track. It just seems to be the pace on the tyres don't seem to last very long at all. And the undercut is very OP here. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the guys outside top 10. I would expect them all to start on set of mediums, everyone outside top 10 at least, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on and when people at the front decide to pit and how many cars will turn 3 take. I'm going to say it's going to take a fair few cars. I think it's going to take at least 3 or 4 cars, so let's see how they get on as they embark on their formation lap.
I dare not even predict how many drivers are going to crash coming through turn 3. I'd say, at a presumptive guess, 4. If I've got to be honest. But that is just entirely because these guys are still getting used to the game. We're still only very, very young into the game cycle. So these guys are still getting used to the new damage model, to the curbs, to everything that this game actually throws at them. Let's have a look at the strategies though. Top 10, of course, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyres. Everyone, bar Mr. Relentless Nathan, has gone on to a set of medium compound tyres. Nathan opting to go for the set of soft compound tyre. He's behind Rocco, of course, who was a very good friend and quite a good rival, I've got to say as well, of him out on track. Nathan will theoretically try and get through the field, but it's just how those tyres actually handle themselves, and if Nathan has got the tyre management strategy, which he normally, from my perspective, doesn't have.
Yeah, I think Nathan's just put on those soft tyres to get rid of them straight away. I think Nathan's going to be one of the first drivers to pit and try and get an undercut and do medium. I think Nathan's strategy here is just get rid of the soft tyres, the worst race tyre, whack on the mediums on both sets, and just try and get an undercut and try and gain as many positions as he can through that. I would expect him to pit maybe lap 3 or 4. I definitely will keep an eye out on Nathan. I expect him to be one of the first guys to come into the pits.
Yeah, you'd like to imagine so, especially if this race is going to develop up into two-stop strategy. Nathan will probably be pitting in around the same lap times, really, as the guys in the top 10, of course, qualifying on a set of older soft compound tyres. Nathan gets a fresher set of softs, so you would imagine he can carry those a couple of laps further than those guys out there on a older set of soft compound tyres. Looking further down the field, though, I've got to be honest, Verstappen down in 12th position on a set of medium compound tyres. We know how quick he is. He put it to Montana last week as well in the first pre-season race. I'm shocked to see him down there in 12th. He should be well higher.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he's going to be disappointed with his qualifying. Again, he's one of those guys that tends to do a lot better in the race, so I'm fully with you. I expect him to be right up there in the top 5 come the end of the race.
Who is your top 3, though? I'm going to have to come across you quickly.
I'm going to say Campbell, Alphatrix, and Justas. That's my top 3.
Interesting. Do I dare make a prediction like that? I think Connor's going to take it. I think Connor's got the pace. Alphatrix will be second. And I'm going to go for Verstappen for third. I think he's got a really good chance there from down in 12th. Watch out for Rocco, watch out for Nathan, and watch out for Vaporizer. Down in the back of the field, he can put in a good performance when needed as well. But Alba and Alphatrix on the front row of the grid, a relatively short run down in towards turn number 1. The 5 red lights are now coming on here in Abu Dhabi for pre-season race 2. And it's lights out and away we go. And I think it caught everyone by shock. Alphatrix is going side by side down in towards turn 1 with Alba, and Alba holds the lead just about, but Alphatrix is on the inside, down in towards turn 2, but Alba holds a position for the lead of the race. Justas nearly getting caught up there with Alphatrix, but Alphatrix in second, Alba leading the way though. Alphatrix in second, Justas in third. A very clean start up and down the field from everyone. Kuka Games trying to make a position further down the field. Connor's trying to go all the way around the outside of Campbell, and there's a spinner on the inside. I think that's Daniel who was spun purely by himself on the inside. He rejoins right back at the back of the field, but that is not great news for Daniel, down in 20th position early on, but it's Alba who leads the way. Matthias, by the way, is struggling with Yulbring right on the back of him, running down the straight, and now Campbell pulls out the slipstream on the back of Connor. Down in towards turn 8 we go for the first time, and it's Alba who leads. Alphatrix in second. There's a McLaren coming absolutely steaming down the inside, and that's Izza spinning on the inside curb. Nathan nearly got caught up in that as well. Tom Robbo had to take a void in action halfway down the field. Very interesting stuff, but it's Alba who leads. Alphatrix in second, Justas in third through the first half a lap.
Yeah, absolute manic at the back. Daniel's lost 14 places, ended up down into last place, and you have Nathan who's jumped 5 places already into the top 10. That's a great start by him, and then he might look at to extend this. He's got the freshest tyres out of everyone here on these soft tyres, so even a 1 lap difference here is massive. So let's see how he gets on here as everyone bunches up now into the final sector.
Yeah, everyone concentrating up. Yulbrim is desperate to try and get past Matthias. Matthias is a bit of a roadblock, I think, at this point. And we're on board with the Alfa Romeo. He's going to try and look to the inside line, but Yulbrim knows better. He's not going to go to the inside into the final corner, is he? And Matthias actually is into the pit lane. So Matthias is into the pit. Not sure if there's right side end plate damage on the car or if those tyres are purely shot early on. But Matthias then into the pit lane on lap 2, by the way. The DRS has not been enabled towards the top end. And I can't see a front wing change. I think Matthias... Oh, yeah, there is a front wing change, actually. Right side end plate damage for Matthias, so he is in onto a set of mediums early on. And there's a spinner through sector 3, turn 3, and it's Yulbrim.
That's one. Turn 3 has already taken his first victim. It's such a difficult corner on this game. The car just goes so late into the corner. It catches everyone off by surprise. But someone else is catching me off surprise. It's Alba's pace right now. Alphatrix is having to do a lot at the moment to try and stick with the Aston Martin car at the moment. You can't see the timings exactly as of course it's glitched out. It is cold match at the end of the day. The gap is 7.5 tenths. So Alphatrix got a big lap ahead of him. He wants to stay in DRS, which will be enabled the next lap around. But I think Nathan's already... Oh no, I think is Nathan 8th place? I think Nathan is 8th place. If Nathan is 8th place, that is crazy. I think he is.
He is?
The graphic isn't deceiving me. And Nathan is on an absolute charge right now. He is a man on a mission.
Yeah, I think some drivers pitted in around him. Leonard, I think, was around him, and he came into the pit lane. Kuka Games is also in. Tom Robbo, by the way, has crashed out coming through the chicane of 12 and 13. We're just running above with Matthias to try and catch this. Of course, no safety cars out on track here tonight. So, they've literally got to do it hands folded. And Matthias now coming through 11, 12 and 13. Tom Robbo's car off to the right-hand side. Hard into the wall. Rear right tyre completely gone off the car. And Matthias nearly followed him on the curve coming through turn 14. But Alba leading the way, Alphatrix in second. Cantera, by the way, on the back of Neo, running down in towards turn number 1, and Nathan and Verstappen looking quite close as well. And I sincerely apologise, by the way, for the interval timings. That is probably gracing everyone's screens at this point. Nathan under pressure though from Verstappen, and Verstappen really coming steaming down the inside in towards turn number 5. Tries to get the car stopped, but he doesn't. Ruta has now spun coming through turn 3, recovers the car well. But Nathan holding on for 8th place for now. I don't think we're going to get moves further up the field though.
No, and Alphatrix, most important for him, has managed to just about keep inside that 1 second window of Alba, and that's giving him DRS. And now it's going to be extremely difficult for Alba to break that. So we have Verstappen going down, or going side by side with Nathan at the inside line for the chicane. Nathan can't really defend it already. You would say the mediums are the better tyre. I would expect people to come in with it the next lap or two and see what Nathan can do. He's got DRS back on for him now. He's down into the chicane of 11. He's going to have the outside line, which will turn into the inside line of 12, and Verstappen backs out, and Nathan is back ahead up into 8th place as Verstappen just goes straight into the back. And you can see how much more grip he has on those tyres. You just can't utilise it at the moment, and yeah, you can just clearly see that the medium tyre are definitely the right tyre to be on right now.
Yeah, I think Nathan needs to tell his brother maybe to turn off the whatever device that he's got in the background, because Nathan was lagging then. I think that's why Verstappen just took it cautiously, I think, not to try and ruin his own race and ruin Nathan's race as well. So I think that was quite smart from Verstappen, but it now puts Rocco and Izza on the front foot in behind. The McLaren and the Williams in behind will be helping Neo, into the box. Here he comes, and he's in then to the pit lane. Goes on to a set of medium compound tyres, lap 4 out of 28, and this is not surprising to me at all. These guys coming in on lap 4, not surprising me at all, and Neo's going to be in a hell of a lot of clean air because Matthias is only coming through the final corner, and Neo was going to be well ahead. Jensen, by the way, is spun coming through turn 16 and 17, so on that right-hand side curve through 17 is where he spun. But looking up the field, Alba leading the way, Alphatrix in second, Justas in third. Here's Verstappen though, on the back of Nathan, trying to reclaim this position, but Rocco in behind. We'll take this from his perspective. The Williams on the back of the Haas and on the back of the Red Bull respectfully, and now Rocco is going to try and get them both, I would think, out of the turn 9 chicane, out of turn 8 and turn 9. He'll try and get them both, but Verstappen is through on Nathan. Rocco just loses the back end, and Izzo's right behind him as well.
Yeah, Neo's definitely going to want to keep an eye out when he comes out of the boxes. I think Nathan's already derated, so is Verstappen, so he's got to put in a lot of effort right now. And then have a bit of a look. He sticks his nose down the inside of Rocco. Rocco just turns in rightfully so, and Izzo thinks better of it. And yeah, but there's definitely a train forming here with Verstappen and Nathan. I think their battling isn't helping them at the moment. Interesting. I think Verstappen's going to drive away right now and latch onto the back of Cantera, but he doesn't pit. But you have to keep an eye out on Neo. I think he was P6 when he pitted. Let's see where he comes out. As Matt picks up a 10, he's the first one to pick one up. I'm expecting a few more. Yeah, a couple of people into the pits now, but let's see where Neo comes out on all of this.
Yeah, Albert into the pit, then Justas and Connor follow through as well. Cantera stays out there. I think Nathan's staying out there as well. And Daniel, I would imagine, will come into the pit lane. He's down in 13th position, but he should be coming into the pit lane. In fact, he's gone past the pit lane entry in the exit, and he's now in 10th position. But Albert coming out of the pit lane well ahead of Neo. Neo was well back, coming down towards turn 1. And Connor and Justas are going to be out in front of him as well. So Neo, not the greatest outlap at all from the German. And now Justas and Connor, 12th and 13th position for now. Looking further up the field though, Rocco and Izza are on the back of Nathan, and Nathan looks like a sitting duck here. He's derating already down the straight. There goes Rocco, there goes Izza. They've literally just been shot out of a cannon down the straight, and Izza and Rocco make up 2 positions for the price of 1. And if you're Nathan, you've got to get, well, buy one get one free, I think, for that, because Rocco and Izza have absolutely sailed on by, up to 5th and 6th to go.
Yeah, those soft tyres are definitely looking worth for wear right now on Nathan's car, and he's the one with the freshest softs out of the lot, so I would be shocked if they don't have people coming into the pits at the end of this lap. I think lap 5 is as far as you want to go, as Cantera picks up a pen, and then Nathan picks up a pen. Penalties starting to rack up here in Abu Dhabi, very known rack for pens, so let's see are they going to box at the front. Alphatrix going for the overcut now on Alba. Alba, interestingly, gone to another set of softs, so he's going for the soft, medium strategy, so interesting to see how that works out for him. A couple of guys have gone for mediums instead, so he's the only one that's pitted and gone on to a fresh set of soft, and they're staying out. So if this to me is telling me that they're going to one stop. If I'm honest, I think they might be trying the one stop.
I think they might be trying the one stop, and that would be the case, I think, because Verstappen and Rocco, obviously on a set of mediums, they're going to be lapping quicker than Cantera ahead, and this is where the mediums are going to be quicker than the set of soft compound tyres. It's a little bit surprising, to be honest, that they have stayed out, but they look like they're going to go one stop, as you rightfully say. Alba, by the way, on a set of soft compound tyre, watch out for him coming in about lap 12, lap 13, and then going onto a set of mediums to the end of the race. Vaporizer, by the way, looking now to pick up a position on the back of Nathan. Nathan, a right moment coming out of turn 20, and now Vaporizer is going to absolutely, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Vaporize past him? No, that doesn't work. Well, Vaporize is up into 7th nonetheless. Nathan now down to 8th. Leonard's become the latest victim of turn number 3, and he is out of the race coming through that corner. Jensen and Kuka Games will move up position as a result. And now Verstappen on the back of Cantera.
Yeah, we're going to go right around the outside, easy as you like, and Cantera has nothing to fight with, and Verstappen now up into 3rd place. And he is absolutely flying. He is the leading medium runner at the moment, and if he is one stopping, which he could well do, it'd be interesting to see why he does do. If he is one stop, he's in a great spot here when he goes on to the next set of tyres, which would of course be the softs. But if these guys continue to stay out, I'm going to be more and more convinced that they're going to go on to a set of the medium tyres at the end. Yeah, Alfred is staying out once again, so is Campbell. So these guys are 100% doing one stop at this stage of the race.
Yeah, Cantera in behind, losing time to Verstappen, and he is staying out as well. Nathan, I believe, is staying out, and I think, actually, no, Nathan's coming into the pit lane. Connor, by the way, has just been overtaken by Justas. That could have big implications as Connor nearly loses it out of turn 20, and then through turn 21. Fastest up the race set by Alba, and he is absolutely flying on that set of soft compounded tyre. I think it was a 1:35.9 set by Askley Justas, who goes a little bit quicker than him. But Connor now has got to try and reply back to Justas. Justas passed him last lap around. He's 2.3 seconds off the back of Alba on the set of medium compounded tyre. That's within striking range from the Lithuanian's perspective, and I'll be hoping to try and get onto the back of the German. But the German, of course, will have quicker tyres at this point in the race. Izza flies past Rocco on the run down the straight. The latest victim of turn 3 is Matthias. Luckily, he's kept the car going though. Matthias has spun coming through turn number 3, but Izza through, and he's into 5th position.
Yeah, he's having a good race as well. He's really gone forward from qualifying, and Matt has had another stint down at the hairpin, so he's really good. Cookie Game's gone onto a step hard, and he's going to really struggle in those tyres. They have literally no grip at this track. So he's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the next one to have a spin off at turn number 3. But these guys staying out, it's going to be very interesting to see. Alba basically has got to make up a lot of time here now, because essentially he's a pit stop down on these guys. So it'll be interesting to see. We won't know till later on in the race. Cookie picks up a pen. Won't know till later on in the race. Amber tyres, I did call it, wasn't quite turn 3, it was the final corner, but Alba's got a lot of ground to make up. Of course he will have the fresher tyres at the end of the race, but he will not have track position as Altrix finally comes into the pits, as does Cantera. It'll be interesting to see what tyres they go on.
Campbell stays out. Rocco, by the way, on the back of Izza. I think Izza is now through on Rocco up to P3. And actually, I commented on that a little bit earlier. So Izza is through and he's into P3. But Alphatrix is coming out of his pit box now. Justas has gone through. Alba has gone through as well. And Connor has gone through. So that is costly for Alphatrix's perspective. But he's going to be on the fresher tyres. Can he last 20 laps on a set of medium compounded tyres to the end of the race? I think that is very, very difficult to do, unless he is an absolute tyre-saving god on the track. Alphatrix will be hoping that, well, the guys around him begin to falter. Alba, by the way, on the back of Ruta. Not often you see the German from the NSX team passing an F1 esports driver. Ruta is now back down into 7th position, and Alba is through and he's into stake, and he's making relentless progress through the field. No pun intended there whatsoever, but Alba is through and he's into P6.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the XL one to come up next. But yeah, just for those guys that did pit onto those mediums, I think they might stretch it to the end. You know, I think they will try and risk it. Their tyre wear might not be the factor. It's going to be the pace that's really going to hamper them later on in the race. So it'll be interesting to see how much the drop off is. We're talking seconds here from the end of the race, so keep an eye on how they go. They will have track position. Abu Dhabi, not the easiest track to overtake, but with the big tyre advantage, will they be able to hold on to those positions? We'll have to wait and see. But the medium runners right now are looking in a very good place. I would expect all these medium runners to one stop. I would also expect Lewis to come into the pit, which he does, and that gives his teammate the lead. So Verstappen from 12th on the grid now finds himself in the lead of the race with nearly a 2-second gap. Looking very nice for the half driver indeed so far. On the best tyres, has more ARS than the drivers behind him. So let's see how he gets on. He's going to have a lot of clean air now to pump in a lap for the next 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, his teammate as well, Campbell, into the pit lane from the lead of the race, and he's going to rejoin him relatively clear air because he's coming out of the pit lane ahead of Cantera, well ahead of Cantera as well. So the Scotsman now into 11th position, and of course that would be a 2-point scoring position when it comes to the League of Europe point system, which we'll delve into, of course, next week for the first round of the season. But Campbell up into 11th position, what can he do? Neo and Alphatrix have got to fall over each other, really. Alphatrix looks like he's dragging Neo along, but Alphatrix currently looks like he's got the pace over Neil to try and drag him along in towards that DRS range of Connor and of Justas ahead. Vaporizer, though, on the back of Rocco, just catches the curb slightly. Don't think he's going to be close enough for a move down in towards turn number 11. But Verstappen still leading the way. Izza in second, Rocco in third, Vaporizer in fourth. Everyone bar Ruta. Jensen also was pitted further down the field, so the top 4 and Ruta still yet to come into the pit lane. We are pretty much a quarter of the way through the race, or over a quarter of the way through the race, and there's Verstappen leading out in front.
Yeah, and Vaporizer is the closest one. He's the only one on track, really, you think, and Connor, I guess, as well, who have a look or have a chance at getting a move done. Problem for Vaporizer is Rocco hovering in that 1 second window. Is that he's out of it right now, but he's been in it for the last couple of laps, and that prevented Vaporizer to get any moves done. But he clearly seems to be quicker than the Williams driver right now. So I would expect him going down into the second chicane. Maybe he will go for the move. We'll have to wait and see how close he can stick with Rocco through the first sector. Gap is over, just over 6 tenths of a moment, and have just that now catching on to the back of Ruther as well. So battle starting to emerge here. People that are doing the one stop and people doing the two stops starting to trip over each other, and you can just see the pace advantage or the grip advantage. Just that's how 2 and 3 gained so much time on Witter there. I would expect this to be an easy move down into the second chicane.
Yeah, and you see actually coming through turns 2 and 3 there on board with Justas. He actually backed off the throttle coming through turn 2 and then coming through turn 3, and that's not to catch the curb and that's not to overrun the revs in terms of spinning the car, because that will really cost you. If we've seen Matthias, by the way, is retired out of the race, and Justas now side by side with Connor, but now here comes Connor on the back of Justas, and Justas now has to hold tight because Connor looks to the outside line. I don't know how he got that move done on Ruta, but Connor now trying to use his instinct. He's on the back of Justas, and now the Lithuanian, the former NSX teammates, are about to go side by side. Ferrari against Mercedes, and the Ferrari is going to be outgunned by the Mercedes, and look at Ruta in behind as well. Ruta is going to try and come at them both, but Connor is through. On to P6 he goes. Justas down in 7th, and now Ruta in 8th, and we've had another spinning. Jensen has spun once again. Rocco on the back of Izza looks like quite a competitive battle as well, but Connor is through, and he's into 6th position, and now NSX theoretically have got a 1-2 out on track.
Yeah, great move, great battling, very clean and fair. Yeah, like I said, Jensen had another spin. It's not been a great day for 2 IFR guys. They seem to be struggling around the track of Abu Dhabi. They've got people coming into the pits. I think Vaporizer has bailed out on those tires. He's only done 9 laps on those mediums, so that's quite interesting. I wonder what he's going to go on to. Surely he can't go on to a set of soft tires. He'd be absolutely
mediums.
No, mediums, yeah. And he's going to go for the 2 stop. Or has he? No, he hasn't stopped already.
Oh!
That's his first stop.
Izza's just spun coming out of turn 3, and he loses the position to Rocco. We saw that on board with Alba on a set of soft compound tyres, of course, Alba, and now he's looking to try and get 2 positions for the price of 1. I wouldn't have risked that, to be honest, down the inside, but he gets the move done in towards turn 7, and now Alba, who showed very, very good pace, and that was what my little F was for earlier on. Alba on the back of Rocco, though, and Rocco has been absolutely excelled by Alba, and Alba is through and he's into P2. Izza, though, is going to try and fight on the back of Rocco. Further down the field, of course, Justas fighting with Connor, and Alpha Trix is through en route. So Connor and Justas still fighting out on track. Izza's going to try and come at the back of Rocco. 3 battles for the price of 1. You don't get this in Poundland whatsoever, but Verstappen leading the way. Alba in 2nd, Rocco in 3rd, Izza in 4th. Justas now side by side with Connor, down and towards turn 11, and he nearly leaves the nose in there. That could have easily been contact, but Justas and Connor having a very, very good fight, but they're losing time.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how much Alba can catch up to Verstappen. Verstappen's in a very good place right now, I have to say, because I think by the time Alba catches up to Verstappen, he's going to have to pit for another set of tyres. It's going to be a very difficult thing for Alba. I think Verstappen is in prime position to win this race right now, as Rocco could with the best. I think Verstappen is the favourite to win this race as things stands. The 2-stop hasn't been working as well as I thought it would. Drivers just seem to be struggling a bit to get the moves done, and they're losing time. It's taken Alba nearly 6 laps to clear the field, and he's still 3.5 seconds behind Verstappen. Now I expect him to come into the pit the next 3 or 4 laps, if even that. So he's got a big task on his hands if he wants to win this race. Yeah,
I mentioned earlier on, I think it was in the formation lap that I said it probably will be about 12-13 laps in, and then these guys on the set of mediums will begin to come into the pit lane. Well, we've seen with Vaporizer, he's only lasted 9 laps, and his tyre wear much heavier, it seems, than the rest of the field around him. But Verstappen leading the way, and it looks like that crossover point's coming, because Alba just beginning to lose time slightly. Further down the field, though, Connor, Justas, and Alpha Trix in a Mercedes sandwich is Justas. He's going to get out of that Mercedes sandwich now, and Alpha Trix is going to come at Connor, but Connor very late on the brakes. He catches the back of Justas, actually just coming across there, the Lithuanian, but now Connor on the back of Justas, coming through turn 10, passing the old F2 pit straight to the right hand side. I don't think Connor's actually going to try and get this move. It's going to be from a long way back if he's going to think about it. Daniel Ricciardo West, but Justas stays in P5, Connor in P6. Alpha Trix though, much fresher tyres, still in 7th position. Rocco looks like he's just made a mistake. He's caught the curb there very, very hard indeed. Front wing absolutely rattled on the curb, and Rocco's lost the position to Izza, which Izza lost earlier on.
You're really coming out with the puns tonight, guys, aren't you?
That was non-intentional. Whatever that one was, that was non-intentional.
But Alba's really caught up to Verstappen on this. He caught up by about half a second. So if he can keep this pace up, he's got a chance. He's got a great chance. But these tyres will be going off soon. Of course, the Verstappen tyres are a lot older. But I don't think the drop off on the medium is going to be as bad. So it'll be interesting to see how long Alba's going to stick this out on those soft tyres before he decides to go into the pits and put on those medium tyres. Of course, he will have to put on those medium tyres. You have to use 2 sets of compound in the race in F1, otherwise you get disqualified. So, as we have a big train starting to form up here behind Izza, you got Izza, Rocco, Justas, Connor, Alphatrix, and Wouter not too far behind. So this is going to get very tasty indeed. As Rocco really struggling for ERS. So Justas seems to be the most, Justas and Alphatrix seem to be the one who have managed their ERS the best out of this train. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get the move done. I think it seems to be the same problem as last game. Just DRS trains make it impossibly difficult to overtake. And we're seeing it once again here as we got a big train. I think Neo and Campbell are going at it. Campbell, who came into the pit a few laps ago, managed to get past Neo. And the two-stop really doesn't seem to be working here tonight.
Yeah, it really doesn't, to be honest. Campbell through, as you say, on Neo. Set of soft compound tyres, by the way, still looking quicker than that set of mediums. Albert is closing in on Verstappen, and that's normally where you see the cutover period, the crossover period, I should say, between both the tyres. But that's not happening at this stage. Albert's showing competitive pace, and he's closing in about a second a lap still, even though he's on 8-lap old tyres on a set of soft compound tyres. As the yellow flag through Sector 2, it's Jensen, who once again has spun. Might not be living up with the guys here in Division 1, but somebody that is Alphatrix. On the back of Connor, Connor on the back of Justas, Justas on the back of Rocco, and Rocco on the back of Izza. Did you get that? I did. Izza still in 3rd position though. Rocco in 4th, Justas in 5th, Connor and Alphatrix 6th and 7th. And they're actually beginning to form up that train, but look at the gap to Reuter. Reuter's still yet to come into the pit lane. He's getting now hounded by Campbell, and Reuter is actually losing time because everyone is stuck in a DRS train in front.
Yeah, I think Campbell's going to have get the move done on him very shortly. He won't have a look down into 3. He's very silly, but he's going to wait for the straight to get that DRS, and Wheeler has no DRS to defend. Oh, look at the grip. He's going to send it down the inside of the hairpin. Just the grip levels is insane at this track on first drive. That was absolutely insane, the drive we got off 3. And here comes Justas on Rocco. He's finally putting that ARS to good use. Going to have the inside line. I don't expect Rocco to battle it too hard. He's not. And Justas might be having a look on Izza now. Izza, his light is flashing. He's less than 10% ERS. And Justas knows that. And he's going to burn all the ERS he has. Sit through DRS, all you want, inside line. Izza can't defend. And that's him up in the 3rd place. And 2 moves into the space of 2 straights before Justas as Connor got past Rocco there, as well as Jensen retired as well.
Oh!
Had a good... Ooh, what's happened here?
Neo has just done an absolute insane move around the outside. Wouter might be on 4-lap older tyres, but to have that level of grip and that level of poise around the corner like that, Neo has just pulled off a worldy move around the outside of turn 11. Not often you see that. Neo has thrown his into 9th.
Not bad for an old man, that's what I would say. But Izza seems to be really struggling on the tyres at the moment. He was going side by side with Connor. Connor tried to send it down into the 3rd sector. I think he turned 17 he wanted to try and do. He couldn't make it happen, and he lost a bit of touch. Look at how much time he lost to Justas. Justas already cleared the DRS. Has got someone spinning off.
Cantera. Cantera.
Yeah, we're really struggling on these tyres right now.
Yeah, Cantera just got an ultimate run out the final corner, gets the move done, and he's through on Wouter and he's into 10th position. Of course, these guys have got penalties out on track. Corner, by the way, has just launched a dive bomb down the inside of the hairpin, nearly loses control of the car while doing so, and now Izza's going to come back at him down the straight. Alphatrix and Rocco, 2 by 2, like Noah's Ark we go, and Connor in P4, Izza in P5, Alphatrix in 6th, Rocco in 7th, but can Rocco try and outdo Alphatrix on the brakes? Alphatrix is much later on the brakes and he gets the move done. Down the inside line he goes, and he's thrown he's into P6. Connor there up to P4, so the Mercedes making big strides forward in the field, and now Alphatrix is going to try and help to get another move done. Izza's coming back at Connor though, down in towards turn number 11. I don't think Izza's going to try and dive it down the inside line. Alba, however, has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that could be quite costly later on in the race.
Yeah, definitely, and Verstappen is still clean, and here Alba is, I would expect to be coming into the pits this lap or next lap. Verstappen's probably got to go to at least lap, I would say 19, maybe 18 at a stretch. That would be the absolute limit you want to go on those soft tyres. So I would expect the pit stops to start happening soon. It'll be interesting. Alba's going to get he's just coming into the pit like I said he would. He's going to throw onto a set of mediums, and the other picks up another pound. That's his third or fourth. But Alba's going to get track position now. He's going to have the undercut while I go through laps on Verstappen. It's going to be interesting now. Can Verstappen catch up to Alba like Alba was catching up to him on those soft tyres? You see the pace advantage he had. It was very, very good. So be interesting to see. I think it is between Alba and Verstappen for the race win, like it was with Verstappen and Montana last week. So still LSX against QBR for round 2, as we got AlphaTrick still up behind. Is surely going to have to move over around the outside maybe? The hairpin trainer is going to set it up. Yeah, set it up further straight. Going to have so much more drive and grip, and is not going to be able to defend this with the DRS easy as you like, and that's going to be AlphaTrick up into P4.
Yep, absolutely sails on by AlphaTrix, and he's into P4. And do you know what? I think he's my favourite to win. I think AlphaTrix is making giant strides through the field. Yeah, he's got Connor and Justas ahead of him, and yeah, they've been a thorn on the side. But look at the tyre advantage. He's got 3 lap fresher tyres than Connor and Justas at about 12 to 15% fresher tyres around here on a 3-lap basis. So AlphaTrix will be hoping, I think, to try and get these tyres to the end of the race. And if he manages to do that, and Justas and Connor falter, AlphaTrix is going to be, I think, the winner of this race.
It's bold, but I can see I think he could sneak onto the podium here. If he can get through the likes of Connor and just as quickly, he's going to give himself a chance. That's a chance. That's all that AlphaTrix needs. We know how good he is, so if you give him a sliver of a chance or an opening, he will take it. I'm just so shocked.
Justas is in.
This is in, and I think he's going to go into another set of mediums, if I'm not mistaken. Soft. Soft. Like, sorry, he's going to do soft, medium, soft.
Mediums.
No, medium. Yeah, medium, yeah. He's going with mediums. He doesn't like those soft tyres. I'm shocked how poor the two-stop has seemed to be here. As we've got Campbell now on Rocco. He's going to have. That was hairy. That was very hairy.
That's moving across if I've ever seen it, and Rocco, I think he needs to get a slap wrist, I think, for that one, because Rocco, defending hard, but he needs to defend fair, and this is why Campbell is now going to karma him down the straight, down in towards turn number 8, and Campbell will be hoping to try and get the move done on the back of Rocco. However, 10% in terms of the ERS. Oh, he sends it down the inside line. That is so late on the brakes from Campbell. So much commitment. Rocco has lost the position now to Campbell. I think Cantera is through on Neil just behind them as well. So Cantera through and he's into 7th. Campbell, though, absolutely sent that down the inside line. And he is through and he's into P5. And again, another one that's making giant strides through the field.
Yeah, if you think AlphaTrix could win this race, I think Campbell can 100% get on the podium here. He's got Izza in front of him, who still hasn't pitted on those 16-lap tyres. You only have Verstappen, Izza and Rocco, who haven't pitted yet. They're waiting out for those soft tyres, and they are going to be ones to look out for. They're going to go right to the back of the field, but they are going to be second and a half quicker than the guys on those medium tyres, especially people that are
Alba sent it down the inside line, and that was a dive bomb and a half if I've ever seen one. And there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Who's that? That spun? Nathan.
Yeah, he's had spin yet.
Not surprised. Not surprised. Nathan has spun. That is harsh. But compared to last week, how many times he spun, I'm not surprised. Down into 13th he goes as a result of that spin. He's now going to be coming at me in the DMs, I think, after that one. Connor leads the way, though. AlphaTrix in 2nd. Look where AlphaTrix is, though. He's 2nd position. Connor is in the lead of this race. AlphaTrix is on much fresher tyres. Campbell on much fresher tyres as well. AlphaTrix has got to fancy his chances here, surely.
Definitely, 100%. Now, look, Verstappen has come out of the pits and he's 5.5. Just under 5.5 seconds behind Alba, so keep an eye on that gap. Alba had obviously said he had to dive on Daniel. He knew how important it was to get ahead and make as much ground up as he possibly could. If you have Alptrix now on Connor on those fresh tyres, Connor's on a hold. I think Alptrix sort of held back there. I think he's expecting Connor to come into the pits on this lap or very shortly indeed, though he's not going to battle him too much at all. But yeah, keep an eye on that gap between Verstappen and Alba. And remember, Alba has a 3-second penalty, so Verstappen only needs to get within 3 seconds of that gap if he wants a chance of winning this race.
Yeah, Connor leading the way. 0.4 of a second is all he has. Alphatrix, though, quite interesting. Trying to save up as much ERS as possible. And I think that is trying to respond to Connor, who will probably come into the pit lane this lap. And indeed he does. So Alphatrix... Actually, did Alphatrix look to come into the pit lane there?
I think he did, yeah.
Came out of turn 20. And he looked to the inside line. And he realised Connor was obviously pitting ahead of him. I think Alphatrix then is going to pit. And who's going to be in the lead of this race then? It could well be Vaporizer, maybe, that could be in the lead of this race. Alba there in 5th at the minute. Connor is rejoining behind Verstappen, well behind Verstappen. Verstappen, of course, on a set of soft compound tyres. Just how much damage can he do on that set of soft compound tyres, though? I don't think he can do that much.
It doesn't seem to be that he's not putting enough pressure on Alba to catch up. It's going to be very difficult. It'll be interesting when he gets past just that's what he can do. But I think Campbell might be going to the end here. I think Campbell might try and go to the end. He's hitting lap 8, I want to say, lap 9, sorry, onto those mediums.
Oh.
So I think as Nathan retires and we're down to 13 drivers, and once again we have very few numbers finishing the race here. But I think Campbell, sorry, I think he might try and go to the end of the race here. So I think my prediction of Campbell winning could come true. You never know. But like you said, I think Alphatrix going to pit this lap. It seemed like he was going to pit, so let's see what he does.
Yeah, it's all dependent on the tyre wear and all dependent on the tyre management around the track. It looked to me, just purely because of the steering input, as if Alphatrix was going to come into the pit lane this lap around. However, I've been wrong before, and I'll probably be wrong again. If Alphatrix doesn't come in, I think he might try and go towards the end of the race. We'll see now. Alphatrix stays out. So there we are. There is the definitive moment of this race, maybe. Alphatrix stays out. Now, what does he do? Does he stay it out for another 9 laps or so and run the risk of picking up a puncture? Same with Campbell and behind. Or does he come into the pit lane, forfeit that lead, and then let somebody like Alba or Justas lead the lead of this race if the guys on that set of mediums in the top 4 were to come in?
I think at this rate they're all going to the end. I think the top 4 are going to the end. Cantera's the only one that I'm a bit... Well, Alphatrix and Cantera, they've already done 11 laps on those tyres, so they're going to be on the edge, I think, but I think they can do it. So the top 4 are definitely going to go to the end. There's no way they're going to pit with 8 laps to go. So Alba's got a massive job on his hand. And this just goes to show the one stop has been very good tonight. Not something I expected to see. So that's very interesting to see. Last game, it was 100% a 2-stop at this track. And it was just so much quicker. This game it seems to be very different indeed. So Alba's got a lot of time. He's got to make up nearly 9 seconds in 8 laps. He's got a mammoth of a task to do if he wants to win this race.
Wouter and Neo are side by side further down the field. This is for P11, trying to go down the inside line. Alba, by the way, through on Vaporizer. Might have been a slight let through there from the McLaren, but Alba is through and he's into P4. Neo derated down the straight, and that's what cost him the position. So Wouter now still in 11th position. Neo derating down the straight. Look at how much deployment he's got on that left-hand side, where that percentage is. You see the 2 bars in the white colour. Top one is for deployment on a lap, bottom one is for consuming energy on a lap. So, he's got to use up, basically got half of his ERS deployment this lap to use up. But, he's got 10% of ERS, and if he uses half of that up, it's 5% ERS, and then he'll end up derating down the straight. So Neo, critical point for him in this race. Vaporizer, by the way, is into the pit lane from P5, I think that is, and he's going in onto a set of soft compound tyres. That's a bit surprising, I think, from my perspective. Yeah. He's just thrown away a really good position.
That really does surprise me. I think all the NSX drivers have gone for the 2-stop here. You can see they've all gone, and it's not really working out. But Vaporizer in P5, he's now down in P12. He's going to be P30, he's going to be last. He's going to keep ahead of Daniel just about, but he's in P12. In P5, he's not going to make up that time in 7 laps and pick up another penalty. So just shows the one stop has been the way to go tonight, and these guys on those softs and fresh mediums are really struggling to make a difference here. And we got Neo and Wouter going from round 2, both very marginal on ERS side, but yeah, Neo with the DRS, easy move, and he's got Rocco in his sights now for P9.
Yeah, that was about the same rate of ERS as well that he had last lap around. About 4% it was towards the end of the straight there. So Neo was through and he's into P10. Wouter now through down into P11, but it's Wouter going to try and come back. You bet he will. Now here comes the Relentless Man on the back of the XL Man, and he looks to the outside line. Neil tries to outdo one that breaks. Wouter, though, so committed. Brilliant move, brilliant racing between them both. And if Relentless and XL had any beef, they've just had it out there out on track, because Wouter is through, and he's into P10. Neil now down into P11, and Wouter just showed a clean pair of heels, I think, there to Neo, and outsmarted him as Alphatrix is in.
Wow, Alphatrix is pitted. I can't believe he's pitted. I am shocked. I don't know why he's gone so long on those mediums just to pit. That's crazy. He's gonna be like 9th maybe. I think he might stay. I think he might get 8th. I think 8th place is his. Wow, that's giving Campbell the win. I think Campbell won this race now because of that. I am shocked he's gone for a pit stop that late into the race.
Albert's going to win this race now. Look at him. He's on the back of Cantera, right tucked up within the rear wing. And here comes the NSX man on the Spaniard. And the Spaniard just has to sit there and, well, hold and wait. Because Albert is through and he's into P2. 1.8 seconds to the back of Campbell. Now, Albert's got fresher tyres. 7-lap fresher tyres compared to Campbell. Neo and Wouter, by the way, going for round 3 further down the field, which I'm now coming on board with. And Neo, predictably, is going to absolutely sail on by on Wouter. Now down into P10. But Albert, 1.5 seconds off the lead of this race. Campbell has got to try and get to the end of the race, I think, now. If he pits in this lap around, which would be so surprising if he does, he's going to be down in last position if he pits.
Yeah, if he sees he's coming with this, and that's why I'm so shocked that Alpha came in. But Campbell, he's got to just hold up Alba for as long as he can. I think we know Alba's going to get past. It's just a question of can Lewis hold him enough that he can't pull that 3-second gap. And if he can't pull that 3 seconds, if he can hold him for a lap and a half, that's going to be massive for him, for his chances of winning this race. So let's see how we go with 5 laps to go.
Albert's going to get him this time around, I think, because look at the gap, it's 0.7 of a second, and the NSX man on the back of the QVR man, and the Scotsman will be trying to fend off the German, but Albert will be hoping to try and, well, just get as much energy out of those tyres as possible. Campbell the same on that set of 13-lap all mediums. Montana, by the way, mentioning to you in the comment section, Alpha would have been caught so easily, and the drop-off is massive. Campbell, is his tyres beginning to drop off? I can see a bit of blistering on that rear left tyre, but now Albert is going to absolutely sail on by, and Albert now in the prime position opens up his DRS as if he's just entered the race. Albert is through, and he's into the lead, just that's in behind as well, getting the move done on Cantera. The drop-off might be massive indeed, and Albert is through and he's into P1, and Yosas now through and he's into P3. Campbell will not give this up without a fight, but purely because of the pace, Albert should absolutely walk away with this one now.
Yeah, just go to what Montana said. The drop-off is massive here, 100%, but Alphatrix was definitely going to get a podium, I think, at the very least a podium, and now he's down here fighting for P7, and he gets past Isaac for number 7. And look how far, he's got so much time to make up with so few laps, with so much traffic to get through, to get back into where he was. If he was going to 2-stop, he should have pitted earlier. That's what my thinking is. I just think he left it too late to come into the pits if he was on 2-stop. He hasn't given himself enough time to make the best use of those medium tyres, like Albert did earlier on in the race in his middle stint on the softs. He went quite long on those soft tyres, and he's reaping the award now. He's got 1.2 second gap, and I think this race is his now. I don't think Lewis can stop him. I don't think he has the pace to keep it within 3 seconds.
Yeah, Campbell in P2, I think he's put up a really good performance though, nonetheless. Trying something different. Alphatrix bangs in the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:34.8. And we're about 2.5 seconds off the qualifying time that Albert actually set. So we're actually not too far off in terms of the fastest lap pace around the qualifying time. So we're about 2.5 seconds off that, which is probably a little bit less than some tracks on this game. Justas trying to get onto the back of Campbell here as well. It's a little bit boring now, if I've got to be honest, so be prepared to yawn the next 5 laps away, but Albert leading the way, Campbell in second, Justas in third. 1.1 seconds is the gap between Justas and Campbell. However, the biggest fear, I think, from Justas' perspective is his ERS. He's got 25% ERS, basically, coming through the chicane. Campbell's got 11% ERS. He's got double the amount of Campbell's ERS at this moment in time. However, he doesn't look like he's got the pace, and he's got to be wary because Verstappen is catching Cantera hand over fist.
Yeah, it's all going to start bunching up now behind Campbell, I think. With a few laps to go, you've got to look out for Verstappen. I think he might, if Lewis, Campbell, sorry, I keep calling him Lewis, if Cantera catches up to the train of Justas and Campbell, and Campbell starts to hold them all up again. That could allow his teammate Verstappen in the mix. He's only about 2-3 seconds behind his teammates. So Campbell might play the team game here. I'll get it right eventually. But yeah, just that stall over the back. I don't think Campbell's going to be able to do too much here. Even if he does have a little bit less ERS, but it's enough to defend, but it's not going to be enough with his higher advantage that Justas has. So I expect him to get the move done down the DRS straight as Rocco picked up another penalty.
He has 3 seconds again for Rocco. I'm on board with Verstappen on the back of Cantera. On a sort of soft compound tyres, and he looks like he's going to get the move done now. Here comes Verstappen to the outside line. He's going to absolutely waltz around the outside through turn 4. That is a lovely move by Verstappen. He put it to Montana last week in the pre-season race. Isn't, by the way, spun coming through turn 3, so there's another victim of turn 3 here tonight. Justas now side by side with Campbell just up the field, and Justas now he's through in the P2, but Campbell, his tyres are beginning to drop off, and Montana rightfully said M Short's tyres dropped off around here last season in Abu Dhabi, and they'd be hoping for the same. Connor, by the way, has got through on Cantera, so Cantera's lost 2 positions. Vaporizer and Reuter are having a battle with Izza further down the field. That's now 3 wide down the straight, and look at Vaporizer's pace. Vaporizer now to the inside line. If that's a shot I've ever seen at Vaporizer, that's just got 2 moves to the price of 1. Down the inside line he goes, and both Reuter and Izza had so much pace down the straight. He is through and he's into P10. Izza now is fighting with Reuter. Reuter lagging back slightly, and now Izza's going to try and come back at Reuter. Goodness me, this race has literally gone from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, and Izza and Reuter make contact side by side down the straight into the braking zone nonetheless. And Reuter and Izza, they've been very lucky there to keep going, if I've got to be honest, albeit both with damage, and that was terrible.
That was very, very silly. I think Reuter left a bit, I don't know, I think both drivers were, I think both of them were kind of up. I think Reuter can take most of the blame. They just came to the left a bit, and that was very silly by both of them. And yeah, just to go back to what Montana was saying, I think Montana was just having a go at Marcus's pace overall last season, not just at Abu Dhabi, but his whole pace in general last season. It's fair enough, he is the defending champ, but here comes Connor now on, or Alphatrix, going down the inside. He's simply lovely on Cantera, and I think his Mercedes teammate Connor is going to do the exact same to Verstappen now with the DRS, Verstappen's going to have nothing to match him with. It's going to be a sit and duck, and it's going to be Connor up into P4. Even though he has a pen, so Verstappen, if he can stick with him, might be able to take that position back at the end of the race.
Yeah, he should be able to stick with him. 3 seconds, though, Connor has the penalty over Verstappen, so he's got to put out a 3-second gap to Verstappen. But look at this, because Verstappen is now going to come back. He's not really derating down the straight, and do you know what? I think Verstappen fancies his chances here. Down on the right-hand side, in towards turn number 11. Around here, we've seen it before, done, I think, was Reuter earlier on in the race. Verstappen, though, could not manage the way through, and Connor stays in P4 for now. There are the penalties, by the way, to the left-hand side of your screen. Alba's got 3 seconds. That is borderline 3 seconds, the gap for the lead. So Justas could be within striking range to try and get the win out on track for the pre-season race.
He's right on he's got a lap pressure as well, which is crucial at a track like this. So he's got to find a 10.5 in the next 2 laps. I'm sure he can find it. I'm sure Alba's going to be pushing like mad to try and keep him at bay. So it's going to be a nail-biting end as we have another spin that is once again going off. And Rocco's out of the race. Rocco has lost it at the last corner, and he's out of the race. He was in P9, having a pretty solid race, and he's out. And with such a short time to go in the race, it's always the most annoying DNF when you have only a handful of laps to go, not even that, and you're out of the race. And here comes now Alphatrix on Verstappen. Now, is he going to do the same that his teammate did the previous lap? Verstappen might just be in DRS. He does have DRS, but he is E-rating, so here comes Alphatrix. He's not using his ERS, maybe he's waiting for the second straight, trying to play it smart, and he is going to wait. He's not going to go for it, is he? No, he's not going to wait.
Is he?
No, he's sort of going for it. Half hard. He's got so much more grip than Verstappen's 4-lap pressure tires. I don't think Verstappen has ERS this lap. No, he doesn't, so it's going to be an easy move for the Mercedes driver. He speaks past Verstappen, giving a bit of moving towards him a little bit. We're just seeing a crash happen by 2 drivers doing the exact same thing, so quite lucky to avoid that. But that's Alphatrix now up into P5.
Yeah, Alphatrix then he's into P5. Verstappen not normally like that, to be honest, just moving across on Alphatrix's line.
Alba, another pen. Alba's picked up another pen, so that's going to give Justas the win.
But if Justas picks up a 3-second time penalty on the next lap or so, then he is gonna, well, Alba is gonna win the race by about a tenth of a second. It is gonna come down to thin margins here in Abu Dhabi. Alphatrix, by the way, down the inside line of Connor into the final corner. Lovely move by Alphatrix, and Connor struggling with the tyres slightly. Verstappen's now gonna come at him. Final lap to go.
I thought he had damage. I think he made a mistake somewhere because.
Does he have damage?
Doesn't seem to have any visual damage, but he's just dropping off.
Right side end plate.
Yeah,
right side end plate. I think there's a winglet missing off the right side end plate. And look at Verstappen. He's all over the back of him. Dives it down the inside line. Connor must have damage on that car, albeit very light damage. Or has he got side pod damage? Has he had contact with somebody else?
Maybe. I think he seems to definitely have damage of some sorts. I think he's hit the wall at 19, or the wall. Sorry, coming out. Yeah, the wall coming out at 19. But he's going to come back here. Oh, no, sorry, that's his teammate. Going around the outside of Lewis or Campbell. Campbell's lost it. Campbell had no grip whatsoever on those tyres, and behind we have Halford's Mercedes. Verstappen now, he's going to try and give it everything he has. Get past Connor for a P5 on track. He goes around the outside.
Oh, Campbell's back! Campbell's back down the inside of Alphatrix. Sorry to cut in, and now they're side by side through 13 and 14 into the left-hander of 14. Campbell, how on earth has he came back from that? Campbell is through and he's into P3, but look at Alphatrix. Alphatrix is going to send this, I think, down the inside line, but Campbell is there. Campbell is there to fend him off, and I tell you what, Alba is just about hanging on. He's through the final corner. Alba now to the line is going to win, and Justas has made a mistake, and that secures the win for Alba. Justas across the line to finish in second. What's P3 going to do, though? Alphatrix round the final corner. Can he get the pace to the line? Could be a photo finish. It's Campbell for P3 by a tenth of a second, and Verstappen has just nicked 5th position from Connor by about a tenth of a second as well. So Verstappen through and he's into P5. Connor P6. Cantera P7. Neo in 8th. Vaporizer in 9th. There was a spinner actually through the middle sector. I think it might have been Ruta, if I'm not mistaken. But Vaporizer across the line to finish in P9. Daniel across the line to finish in P10. We wait on Ruta and we wait on Izza to finish. But Justas winning. Alba second. Campbell in third. And actually, oh yeah, Alba had 6 seconds. I thought he had 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think he picked up a second pen on lap 26, if I'm not mistaken. So that gave him 6 seconds. But wow, that was right at the end. You saw the strategies all come together with Campbell, Alphatrix, Verstappen, and Connor 2 by 2. That was insanely close. Great battling. That was a really good race, and hopefully now, pre-season's done. Hopefully now we can see a bit more of that throughout the season. Nice clean battles, not like the one we've seen with Izza and Ruter, more like what we've seen with Verstappen, Connor and Alphatrix and Campbell. That's what we want to see here in Division 1.
Vaporizer gets driver of the day, looking like somebody that might be in the commentary box alongside me, but there we are. To the top step of the podium though goes Justas in for the Lithuanian. It is a fantastic victory. Alba very unlucky, I think, with the penalties. He just overreached the track limit slightly, picked up 6 seconds, and that's why Justas is the winner. Justas, actually, former NSX teammate, getting one over on the NSX man of Alba.
I'm sure he'll enjoy that one. But yeah, that was... Alba showed great pace on the two. I think he was one of the only few guys, him and Justas, I believe, only guys that really showed great pace on that two-stop strategy. It didn't seem to work as well as we would have expected, but yeah, wow, that was insane. And that was without Montana and M-Short, so we only know what it's going to be like come the actual season. That was incredible racing at the highest level, and I can't wait now for the season to start.
Yeah, Jensen, by the way, saying what happens when damage is on and safety car is off. Well, it was. And safety car's on next week, so there we are. Justas though takes the win. Alba in second, Campbell in third, Alphatrix in fourth, Verstappen in fifth, Connor in second, Cantera in seventh, Neo in eighth, Vaporizer from 20th on the grid up to 9th, Daniel finishing in P10, Ruter and Izza also finished, and Izza picks up the fastest lap of the race. Rocco, Nathan, Jensen, Matthias, Kuka Games, Leonard, Tom Robbo and Yilbream. 8 DNFs here in Division 1. Very disappointing, I think, from my perspective, and I'm sure from the admin's perspective as well. But most of that was induced due to crashes out on track.
Yeah, I guess it's annoying when people crash out, but it happens, I guess. As long as they're not returning into the pit lane, we can't hold too many grudges. But yeah, I think we got a lot from the last 2 races. I think from the last 2 races, we can build up from that. And it'll be interesting to see now how the Division 1 table or how Division 1 standings come out when they are released. A lot of these guys will be in Division 1, maybe a few are thinking they won't be getting a seat if they haven't performed the last 2 races. So it'll be interesting to see how that all comes out. But I've really enjoyed that, and I'm really looking forward to the season starting now.
Yeah, of course, the season starting next weekend here in League of Europe for Division 1. And as you say, Gary, most of these guys should be in Division 1. Some of them, I think, toward the lower end of the field, certainly will be looking to try and get maybe a Division 2 seat, maybe even drop down further than that. But it's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to commentate through the action here for pre-season race 2. Let the games begin next week. Let the games close tomorrow night, of course, for the Olympic Games. But from myself and Gary, Gary, I'm going to come across to you, though. Final thoughts. Driver of the day.
Oh, you put me on the spot here. I'm probably going to go Alpha Trix over Verstappen. Either or. I think Verstappen nudges for me, just considering where he qualified in P12 to get right up there. And a really good drive by him. So I go Verstappen this time.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think Verstappen has showed really, really good attributed pace, I think, throughout both pre-season races. He definitely gets my Driver of the Day vote as well. We don't want to see Vaporizer getting Driver of the Day, given that he's a lookalike of somebody in this league. But there we are. Yeah, Gary is now laughing, just smirking, thinking, you better not carry on this joke throughout the season, and I will. But there we are.
So I'm used to it anyway.
I'm glad you're used to it. I'm really glad you're used to it. But we'll end off, of course, more action to come. Division 2, Division 5 and Division 6, I believe, going to be taking you through at 8 UK time, 20 minutes time. Go and get yourself a bag to eat. I'm certainly going to get myself a big bag of sharing crisps to eat for myself. So there we are. Thank you so much, though, for watching League of Europe here tonight. And until next time, goodbye.